so I've been getting a lot of questions lately. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little Q&A here. So one of the questions that I get is, what foods are the best to eat to put on lean muscle? Well, right now I'm going to go through what I'm going to do right now is kind of go through what I'm going to have for lunch today. And what I have here is, my foods are very basic. I'm not fancy eater. I don't do a lot of spice and stuff like that. What I'm going to do here today, though, is I'm going to go ahead and take, it's 85-15 ground beef. And one thing that I do is I measure everything out. As you can see, I got my measure here, and I'm going to go ahead and measure out about 8 ounces. So if I get about 8 ounces out of this, I'm going to make a burger out of this. So if I get about 8 ounces out of this, so I'm going to go ahead and go, there's 6 ounces right there. Excuse me, there's 6 ounces right there. Then I'm going to have one small little 3-ounce burger. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of mix that up a little bit, and because what it does is going to round out my protein, what I need for the day. And what I have here total is going to bring me to about, need a little bit more, for at least for this meal here, it is going to bring me to about 44, 54, right around 60, 65 grams of protein for this meal here. And that's going to be just enough. And like I said, I don't do anything fancy. So the best thing, you know, and everything that I've been doing for my meals, when I put on lean muscle mass, especially when I'm not dieting and stuff like that, and I'm kind of off my diet a little bit right now because I'm trying to put on a little bit of size. Even at my age, I can still do that as long as I have the right diet and everything's kept clean, you know, and everything. I stick with fairly high in fat red meats, but I only have red meat maybe about twice a week. Now I'm one of those guys, you know, who don't need a whole lot of red meat. I put on over my life about as much size I'm going to put on. Probably put on a little bit more, but one of the things that I do take into consideration is, as I get older, that I do need to keep mass on, because it does keep my body working a little bit better than what it usually does. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these patties here, and I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Nothing much. Gonna mush that down a little bit. Okay. Like I said, my foods are very basic. And what I'm going to have with this is, I always measure everything out. And let me wash my hands real quick. And I'll have a cup of brown rice with this. My protein is always kept high. So as far as my carbs, my carbs are mostly in the way of low glycemic carbs, meaning brown rices, yams, things of that sort. And I'm going to go ahead and barbecue this today. And that's what we're going to do. Go ahead and flip that on here. Go ahead and get this right. Let that heat up a little bit. We're going to let that go to about 400 or 500 degrees. And I'm going to bring it back in. And then we're going to start cooking it. And in the meantime, while I'm doing that, I'm going to just measure out my rice. And like I said, everything's pre-made now. We got about a cup of brown rice right here. I'm going to go ahead and measure that out. And I put everything usually in a separate bowl. And what do I have here? Measured out. For those of you who don't believe me that I measure everything out, it's absolutely true. And sometimes it is just the way it is, because nothing is easy. One of the worst ways, one of the things that people don't do is when they say they want to gain weight or they want to lose weight. Gaining weight's one thing you can get away with. You can get away with some things. When you're trying to lose weight, people don't understand this. You have to measure everything out. It's not as simple as just it's not as simple as just eyeballing it sometimes. And when you get good enough, and you've been doing it long enough, you can eyeball certain things. And and even to this day, even though I've been doing this a long time, I don't eyeball my meats. I don't eyeball my cups or anything like that, because I want to be pretty precise. especially when it comes, because macros are everything. I don't care really about taste. I want things to taste good, but again, it's more about what's it going to do for my body. How's it going to affect my body? Now, now in certain situations, in my situation is a little bit different with bodybuilding, with fitness and stuff like that. It's a little bit different with the general clientele, with people who just want to generally lose weight, people that are on the go. I would suggest more of a calorie control type of thing. But there's certain things that you have to take into consideration when you do that. And you can still have pretty much whatever you want throughout the day. But it's got to be portioned out. You have to keep your protein up high, though. That's the whole thing. Now, people that are, let's say, executives or we're in a corporate world or something like that, to where they can't eat all the time, it's got to be pretty precise. You're not gonna, you're not gonna eat your chicken. You're not gonna eat your rice all the time. You're gonna have salads. You're not gonna have fish, things like that. Your proteins have to be high. You can get away with eating certain things, as long as it stays within your calorie count and where it should be. And these are going to be smaller portions. Okay, so now what we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and take this, take it out here, and we're going to go ahead and just put this right on the barbecue. Like I said, nothing fancy. And let's see, can't get that up without burning my lens. We are right at 500 degrees. Put that on. Look, I am by no means a chef, but I am telling you how I get away with things and how I do things. And it's an important aspect. You're not going to see me out here cutting up vegetables and and trying to be a chef here. I'm not. I eat more for function. I eat more, to see what's about my body and how my body's going to react to certain things, how I'm going to grow. If I'm gaining weight too fast, I'm going to come back on my carbs. My fats are pretty much always low, unless I bring my carbs down. If I bring my carbs down, then I'm going to bring my fats way back up. And because you need that energy source. So we're going to go back in here, and we're going to go ahead and let that cook for a while. And that's going to be about it. As far as my vegetables, I keep my vegetables usually just as at asparagus, green beans, and spinach. Spinach mostly with my eggs. My breakfasts consist more of egg whites. Let's say, for example, I'll have a cup of egg whites, which yields about four eggs, and then I'll add in 3 whole eggs to keep my fats up. During that time, I will not have, the only thing I'll have in the way of a carb will be maybe a couple pieces of Ezekiel toast and stuff like that. Like I said, I keep my glycemic down real low. But as far as, putting on lean mass, it's going to go in the way of your training as well. Diet's always the most important thing. So what I'm saying is you got your lean red meats, you have chicken. I'm not opposed to chicken thighs. I love chicken thighs. A lot of times you can go ahead and burn the cook the fat down out of it. If I have a chicken thigh, I'm going to go ahead and bring my carbs down, because there is a lot of fat content in the chicken thigh. Fish, I love fish. I usually have fish, I'd probably say at least 3 or 4 times a week. And when I'm not training for anything like that, or I'm not really trying to worry about getting lean or anything like that, we'll go ahead and go with with salmon patties sometimes. And you can get these salmon patties at Costco, and these things are great. And it really is. It's a salmon burger is what it is. And there's really that much additives in it, and protein content is high. The fats are high. The omegas are high in it. And matter of fact, let's go ahead and take you over to my freezer, just to let you know what my freezer looks like. Let's see what my freezer looks like. So you see what my freezer looks like, right? We have all pre-made food. We have cod in there, right? We have bagged rice in here. We have ground beef. We have chicken. We have up here, looks like some lean, maybe some flank steak or something like that. You come down here. Basically, we're starting to run out of food a little bit. A lot of egg whites, asparagus, apples. You really don't see hardly anything as far as in the way of junk food in my house. You know, if we want something, we'll go out and get it. And the reason why we just go out and get it and we don't keep it in the house, because it forces us, you know, if you get lazy and stuff like that, it kind of forces us to, you know, stay in and say, you know what, I really don't feel like going out and getting it. And it kind of keeps us out of bed. If I want something that's going to be, that I get a craving at night, that before bed, you know, I'll come out and I'll have, let's say, a bowl of blueberries with maybe some whipped cream topping or something like that. And that's really about it. If I really get a craving, I'll go have some ice cream. And that usually kills my appetite and stuff like that. I've been lean for a long time, but the thing is though, is since April, since I started dieting in April and started training again, started training hard again, like I would be for a bodybuilding contest. It really, I've really put on a lot of lean size, and you know, I still, when I started at I think I was like 233, 234 when I started dieting. You know, all of my, you know, I noticed that things that have came down would be my pants that have came down, my waist size have come down, but my shirts I'm still fitting in. You know, I'm still in double X's and stuff like that, and still, you know, still keeping my train. If you guys see the way I train pretty hard. I train, you know, fairly heavy for my age. That helps keep on a lot of mass. But again, we're looking, you know, but again, diet is really one of the main things here. And we're going to go ahead and flip these burgers here a little bit. And that's really about it, man. And, you know, hit us up. And if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. Okay? Out.